Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Joey Galvez, one half of your host of Explain Yourself, and I want to let you guys know about a really cool book from our friend of the show, Eli Shockey. This one is called The Greylock, and it's a story where magic is a commodity. Potions are sold at corner stores. Orcs and dwarves earn a living in cubicles, not on the battlefields. But there are those who resist the house's magic's laws. Branded a criminal and forced to live as a wand for hire, there is a spell slinger they call the Greylock. Check this one out. You guys can pre-order issue 3 right now with code JAN241939, and make sure you guys are heading over to your favorite LCS and letting them know that you want Greylock number 3, and maybe pick up the first 2 issues. You could do that at the Scout web store. So make sure you guys are grabbing the Greylock number 3, JAN241939 at previewsworld.com.
Okay, everybody, welcome to the latest episode of All Too Real 2. My name is Michael E. Cullen II, and with me as always is
Matthew. Oh shit! What? Damn it! What's the? Okay, Matthew Haas. What was the Loki? What was her name? It's not Cynthia. What was it? It was
Sylvie.
There we go, Matthew Sylvie Haas. God damn it, I ruined it. All right.
Do you want to record that over?
No, it's fine. We just keep it.
Okay.
Let's keep it natural.
Except for now, we got me asking if you want to record it over.
That's fine. No, that's part of the magic. It's
yes.
Yeah, it's like a live concert. You can't start the song over. I mean, although I have seen people do that sometimes, but
yes,
but they really fuck up the beginning of the song, like just terribly. Like I saw, was it Peter Gabriel did that? Like he fucked up the song so badly that he literally just started over.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, before we get started on today's topic, which is Loki episode 3, there's a story in the news lately that's been concerning me or interesting to me. Do you want to hear about it, Matt?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so Jerry Seinfeld is going to star in and direct a movie called Unfrosted, which is about the creation of Pop-Tarts.
What?
And I'm not making any of this up, and that's just a sentence that I never thought I'd ever say in my life.
I am obsessed with Pop-Tarts, as you know.
Yes, that's why I thought I'd bring it up to you.
It's my favorite snack, breakfast food, whatever have you. Like, if I ever get rich, like, I am going to buy, like, a lifetime supply of Pop-Tarts. Like, it's going to happen. So he's gonna. So what? It's like a documentary, or is it like an actual movie?
It's a movie.
Okay.
Where he's going to star in it and direct it. And he
co-wrote.
It's about the creation of Pop-Tarts.
Okay.
So that'll be interesting, and it's supposed to be a comedy. And it was written by Barry Marder and my Facebook friend Spike Ferenstein, who was one of the co-creators of the Michael Richards Show, which we're going to have as an feature episode.
Yeah, the one that we just totally made fun of.
Yeah.
Oh man, sorry about that. That's amazing. Yeah, I mean, I can only imagine it being somewhat of a comedy. I can't imagine it being like a harrowing drama. Although it could have been something like that. Like the guy who, made Pop-Tarts and then he ends up getting pushed out, doesn't make any money from it. I could see that kind of thing happening too. And like he can't afford anything but Pop-Tarts. So that's like the tragic ending of the movie. He's got like 2 quarters to rub together. He just sees like a box of Pop-Tarts at like a gas station and he buys it. Then he just like eats it in his car and then just drives away with like $2 of gas left in his car and just decides to leave the car wherever it runs out of gas and just keeps walking. And then like the camera just zooms out on him walking until he's away from the camera and then it just rolls credits. See that version too. That would be pretty sad, but it's good that's a comedy.
Yeah, I'm not sure what the true story is, but we'll find out. And this is going to be on Netflix soon.
Okay. Oh, so it's a Netflix movie. Okay.
Yes.
Cool. Well, that's nice because all the Netflix movies so far have been Adam Sandler movies. So apparently, it's nice to have another comedian, to kind of get into the Netflix thing, and so it's not just like Sandflix essentially.
Yeah, well, they've done other things. They've done some, they did the Irishman and other movies, So.
Oh, that was okay. I didn't know that was Netflix. Okay, that's cool.
They've done a lot of good original films.
I only focus on the bad things, so like Hubby Halloween. That's enough for me to hate all of Netflix. That one movie.
Yeah.
Or was it Hubie Halloween? I don't know.
Whatever.
Don't care. Basically any movie with Adam Sandler, it's going to have followed by Kevin James somewhere in the movie. It's like almost like required by law now that Kevin James has to be in an Adam Sandler movie. So,
yes,
you're
going to have Kevin James or David Spade or
David Spade
or Rob Schneider or one of those guys.
I will say this though, Adam Sandler is probably like the best friend in the world because you're gonna get in his movie no matter what. Like, you're gonna get a paycheck,
I mean, he seems like a cool guy, regardless.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I will say that.
Anyways, do you want to talk about Loki here?
Sure.
Speaking about other cool guys, Loki.
Yeah.
So, episode 3, which premiered on June 23rd, 2021, was entitled Lamentus. It was directed by Kate Herron and written by Bisha K. Ali, who is supposed to be the head writer of Miss Marvel, which is coming out soon. A new series, another series. So yeah. In this episode, do you want me to go through a little bit of a quick breakdown here? Actually, first off, Matt, what did you think of this episode?
I liked it. I liked all the episodes so far, obviously, but I kind of like this one because it was mainly just kind of the two of them, like their own sort of like buddy cop, well, not buddy cop, but whatever.
Yeah.
Kind of storyline going on, and it was kind of just focused on the two of them, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like Michael Waldron, the head writer of the show, had talked about some of the influences he had for this show, and one of the influences he talked about was the Before Sunrise series of movies, where it's basically just two people meeting each other and getting to know each other.
Yeah. So
it where it was like Ethan Hawke's American in a European setting with Julie Delpy's foreign character, so this kind of is similar in this way. This episode, I can.
Wait, is that the movie? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Was that the movie where they're like on a train or something like that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I've seen that. All right.
So you can tell the influence on this episode specifically, I think. with the
Right.
train and the
Mhm.
two people getting to know each other, sort of thing. Yeah. So I asked people in our group first off too about what they thought of the show so far. Michael Buckor, I think that's how you pronounce his name. Bucor? I don't know. Anyways, he's a Facebook friend that I used to work with. He says, I'm a fan. I haven't watched any of the other Marvel shows. I've actually wanted to rewatch the first episodes, like I keep thinking about 1 and 2, and the dialogue in episode 3 was pretty interesting, kept my attention, ending of that episode. Chris Tiefel says, I like it, but episode 3 felt like a filler episode. Aside from the throwaway line that Loki goes both ways, there were no big revelations. We know no more about female Loki than we did before, and why she hates the TVA. There was a lot of revelations in this episode, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't just...
Chris is missing. That's my thing. Kermit Key said that it was that this episode was a clunker. Mike Caswell says, I love it. I love the intellectual property of it and its Hellenistic characters, and giving us a feel of where the tale is going next, and delivering Lokiism and mischief. Gabriel says, I like it quite a bit overall, but the third episode didn't feel like it was necessary, and certainly nowhere near as strong as episodes 1 and 2, but I've been enjoying the series overall. Amber Dawn says that last episode began with an enchantment. I don't trust these devils at all. LOL. Looking forward to the twist and Richard E. Grant wherever he may be. Yeah, Richard E. Grant's going to show up in the show at some point, and a lot of people are speculating that he might be playing an older version of Loki.
Oh wow, okay.
So, yeah, and there's some other theories that we can talk about at the end of the episode here, too, involving that and other things. So, in this episode, it begins where the last episode left off, sorta, except for we do see at the beginning, starting out with the woman we will learn later is named Sylvie, talking to the brainwashed Minuteman she had, the woman, and they're in this bar drinking margaritas and talking about brain freezes and stuff like that. We find out that this is basically just her using an enchantment spell to find out information about where the timekeepers are from this woman. Then we have it where it left off last time, and Loki has followed the variant, who goes by Sylvie, to the TVA, where she attempts to visit the timekeepers. Then Judge Renslayer attacks them. So Loki, basically, while they're there too, Sylvie realizes that she can't use her magic there. She didn't realize this before, which is interesting because I think she's been at the TVA before, so you think she would have known that, unless this is a new thing that they added on where they disabled magic since then, you know what I mean? Like, maybe originally you could use magic there. We'll find out in future episodes, I'm sure.
Right.
After Renslayer attacks them, Loki uses a tempad to teleport himself and Sylvie away. They arrive at 27-7 on Lamentus 1, a moon that is soon to be crushed by a planet. However, the tempad is running out of power. They find out they're in this mine, quarters for some miners or something, you know, at first. So this is like a mining moon or something, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Where you got miners, not underage people, but the other kind of miners.
Yeah, well, some of those miners were underage before there was, child labor laws. So
yes, that's true. So you could be a minor. You could be a minor miner.
Yeah, well, that's a true story.
True story. Okay. Anyway, so the the temp pad is running out of power. They find out while they're there, and so they cannot escape, and so they're stuck on this moon that's going to be hit by a planet, and they need to try to escape, which just kind of sucks. Sylvie gets mad at Loki throughout it about like why did you bring us here? And it's basically, he didn't have time. He said I didn't have time to look at the brochure to find out where to go, So
he just picked a random spot, probably.
Yeah.
Or he didn't do the research. Well, like she said too, this has been a plan years in the making, on her part. So she knew, she'd done all the research, to know where to go and or when to go and where to go.
She probably had all these places, programmed in there, so then she could, go to them for a little bit and then come out and everything, Yeah. So they end up agreeing to work together because Loki ends up magically hiding the temp pad while only Sylvie knows how to recharge it, so they have to work together, basically. He doesn't know how to recharge it. She doesn't have it.
It's one of those things. Yeah, we're forced to work together. By the way, so about the whole magic thing, if I could turn around for a second.
Yeah, sure.
No magic in the TVA. Well, Loki is a frost giant, and his natural form looks different. So he has to use magic, doesn't he, to look human, right? So why wouldn't he look like that when he was in the being judged or whatever,
I'm not sure, unless somehow because he's made himself look like that for so long, he's kind of become that.
Okay, yeah, I got that.
That's my theory on it, that he's made himself look like an Asgardian for so long that he's kind of just become that.
Right, makes sense.
That's for the explanation reason, but probably, money wise, and on Marvel's hands, is it would be too costly to put the makeup on him every day and everything. So yeah,
right. It's not that important really of a thing, because he's not really. I mean, they already did the whole Dark Elves storyline, all that stuff. So,
and those were in bad movies anyway, so it's okay.
I haven't seen that one actually. Is it not good?
It's okay. I mean, it's worth watching, mind you. It's just I think the first two Thor movies are kind of lackluster, with the exception of Loki.
Okay.
In my opinion, I mean, they're okay. It's just once Ragnarok comes around and Chris Hemsworth kind of creates his new persona as Thor, where he's more comical than Shakespearean, it kind of works. Because like the other ones, he's kind of like doth protest too much, and not really, but
right, yeah.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, so anyways, they end up sneaking aboard a train bound for an ark. First off, they meet like this woman who's living in her house to find out what's going on. Loki tries to pretend to be her dead husband, and she's not fooled by it because he's being too loving. And and she this is after she like shoots them with some kind of like ray gun of some sort. And then calls them devils.
Yeah.
So anyways, they find out that there's a train heading to this big ark that's going to take basically the rich people off the moon to safety. Yep.
Capitalism is alive and well, even on Lamented in 2077 or whatever.
Yeah. So they end up sneaking aboard board this train bound for the Ark. And with their goal being that they know that once they get to the Ark, they can use that to recharge the temp pad. My thing is like, would they be able to like charge? Like, what kind of charge do you need for this temp pad? You know, like,
that's what I'm saying. Do they really need something that, you know, powerful, like a spaceship, essentially? Like, you know,
I mean, I'm not sure what things are like on Lamentus, but I mean, does somebody on the train have an iPhone that they can use the charger from?
Like, I just see something like, yeah, you might need something more than like a regular battery, but I can't imagine you would need like a space shuttle, you know, I mean, who knows? Maybe the TVA is that advanced that you would need something like, you know, I don't know. But yeah, that's I
mean, it would be a weird thing. It would be really funny if they somehow, in a future episode, have to recharge the temp pad, and you find out that you can just use like an iPhone charger.
Yeah, exactly. Like the whole time is that they think it has to be this like huge. Yeah, that would be hilarious. It's like Loki shows up and he like just plugs it in and just kind of stares at Loki for a moment. Then he's like, "All right, back to where we were before."
Yeah. The so while they're on the they sneak on the train. The way they do it is Loki dresses up as a guard, transporting Sylvie onto the train, and Sylvie uses her enchantments to basically make them believe that that's true. They sneak aboard this train that's bound for the Ark, and they start talking about different things. We do find out some revelations here that Loki's bisexual. We find out that Sylvie knew she was adopted the whole time that she was being raised. We don't find out really who raised her. We do realize she admits that she taught herself magic.
Right.
So that's some revelations that we're getting in this episode. Then some other things start happening. Do you want to take a break, though, Matt? And then we'll come back and talk about the rest of the episode?
Yeah, we'll take a Pop-Tart break, sure.
Yes. Pop-Tarts. The favorite snack of me and Jerry Seinfeld.
Yep, and me, too.
Why do people eat Pop-Tarts? Okay, anyway, so we'll be right back, folks.
What is Gen X? What is the silent generation? What do generations have in common? Hi, I'm Trish the Dish from the Gen X Voice podcast, and I invite you to listen to conversations I have with folks from different generations, backgrounds, beliefs, and experiences in an attempt to see what connects rather than divides us. Even though Gen X has been called slackers, Karens, or not mentioned at all in some cases, we are the bridge generation, so I feel compelled to do my part to destroy ageism by bringing all these voices together. And, as a bonus, each guest gets to answer some 80s questions at the end of each show. So download and listen to Gen X Voice today on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And let's see how much we have in common after all.
Hi, this is Catherine, host of a new fashion podcast, The Real Fashion School Dropout. Join me as I interview guests every week in the fashion and beauty space, and we gossip on all things fashion and beauty, and even get into some personal stories of their journey in the industry. You can find us on Apple, Spotify, pretty much wherever you get your podcast. Hope to see you there.
And we are back. So, yeah, Pop-Tarts, man. I love Pop-Tarts.
Yep. Me too.
I'm all about the frosted strawberry and the chocolate ones.
Yeah, we were just talking about that on the break.
Yeah.
Totally.
Kellogg's, if you want to sponsor us, I'd love that.
We've been asking them to do this for about 3 years so far. Mm-hmm. And they still never done it yet. I don't understand why. Like, you know, how many podcasts out there have been extolling, you know, the greatness of Pop-Tarts in like almost every single episode for like, I mean, what, we have like hundreds of episodes at this point?
Yeah.
And like half of them we talk about Pop-Tarts in a, you know, good manner, mind you. Come on. Like,
I don't know. I mean, I guess the people at Kellogg's in Battle Creek, Michigan are not listening to podcasts.
well, they should.
Maybe we should just start a podcast all about Pop-Tarts.
Yeah. That might get their attention. All two tarts.
All two tarts. All two tarts.
That sounds different.
Yeah, it doesn't really sound like what we're talking about.
Yeah, I don't think. I think we get a lot of disappointed listeners.
Yes.
All they're talking about is strawberry.
They did a whole episode on brown sugar and cinnamon Pop-Tarts, but not about what I wanted to hear. No.
Oh, God.
So anyways, yeah. I mean, even if you just want to send us free Pop-Tarts, we'll talk about about your Pop-Tarts.
Oh, yeah, totally.
Yeah. We're going to do it anyways, so, you know. Might as well give us something in return here, Kellogg's. Yeah. Come on. I mean, I like your cereals too, Kellogg's, you know, if you think that that's the problem, you know. I do like your Fruit Loops
mm-hmm.
and your Frosted Flakes
mm-hmm.
and your Apple Jacks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, Apple Jacks. I haven't had that in a while. Do they also make the wheat ones?
Frosted Mini Wheats.
Those are good.
Those are one of my favorites. Yep.
Yeah, they're great. Lots of fiber and protein in that one. It's good.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you feel good.
Yeah.
The other ones, they taste good. They don't make you feel good afterwards. The wheat ones really make you feel strong. You know.
Yep. Like you can lift a building.
Yeah, totally.
Like Loki. Anyway, so back to the show Loki here.
Yeah.
Okay, so once they're on the train, Sylvie decides to take a nap. She wakes up. Loki has gotten drunk and basically causes the guards to discover who they are. What else happens here, Matt?
Yeah, I forgot. I think he was just being really rowdy and stuff like that. And he was like singing these like almost sounding like Irish type of ballads. Like
well, it was kind of in. I think it was in like Norwegian or something.
Norwegian, okay. Because of the
There's a translation of the song here online, Matt. It says, in stormed, blackened mountains, I wander alone. Across glaciers I travel forth. In the apple orchard the fair maiden stands and sings, when will you come home? And the chorus, which is in English, says, when she sings, come home. When she sings, come home.
Wow, that's really sad.
Yeah, it's a sad song.
Very poetic.
But then, like,
it's a very sad song, yeah.
Like you were saying, it was kind of like reminded you of like an Irish song. It's kind of like Irish drinking songs, which are really pretty sad too, you know?
Well, yeah, people usually get sad when they're drunk. And,
and they sing these songs to make themselves happy about sad things. Yes.
Well, it's a weird cathartic thing, yeah. It's
It's just like before we recorded, we were talking about Third Eye Blind, Semi-Charmed Kind of Life, which is a song about his friend dying of crystal meth overdose. But it's one of the most upbeat, happy pop songs in history, you know? So it's like...
Yeah, it's maybe he wrote it like that because it was such a sad, a sad song, and that he wouldn't be able to play it if it was sad without just breaking down and crying, you know what I mean? So he had to make it sound happy, you know?
Exactly. Anyways, Loki has gotten drunk here. And the guards basically discover that they aren't supposed to be there, and they end up getting into a fight, and Loki is thrown off the train, and Sylvie follows him. And when they land, the temp pad appears to be broken.
Damn it.
Yeah. The duo then journey on foot and intend to commandeer the Ark and basically change the fate of this apocalypse.
But wait a minute. I thought the whole point was that you can't change these events. Like, the Ark's gonna...
Well, exactly.
They don't make it out. Ark doesn't make it, yeah.
Yeah. But they were going to try to change the events, which you can change the events. It's just...
I see.
If you don't interfere in the... like, you can't change something like a volcano erupting.
Right.
You can change something like this, but...
Right, you could, like, for example, you could tell people early and put them into, like, safety before the volcano erupts. So technically, you've changed history, by doing that kind of thing.
But if it's right, but the thing is, certain things too, like even with a volcano, though, if it's right before it erupts, you really can't change anything because you're not going to have enough time to get folks off the land. That's going to be
right. Well, I meant
like if you come days before, you can change things.
Yeah.
And like with this, they're like 12 hours before the event is when they got there. So
yeah.
So they decide they want to commandeer the Ark. We come up. Sylvie reveals something very, very important here. Sylvie says that the TVA's workers are all variants rather than creations of the Timekeepers, as Mobius claimed.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings into question here. When she was at the TVA, she killed a bunch of these people. These quote unquote innocent variants that are brainwashed to think that they're creations of the Timekeepers.
Well, they're innocent, yes, but they're also trained to do a certain thing. So it's one of those moral gray area things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's like, yeah, they're innocent, but they're trying to kill you. So what do? I mean,
it's kind of like when you're in a war, you don't really want to kill the other soldiers because they're just fighting for their country.
Right, exactly. And then it's one of those things where it's like, gosh, and who knows? Maybe they'll be brought back somehow anyway, and just start their job all over again, or something.
I don't know. Yeah. See, because I have some theories I'm going to talk about later about this thing when we get to the end of the episode. Okay. So yeah, but that's just really interesting because that means that all of these people are basically probably had their minds wiped or something, and they don't know who they were originally. Because that's how we realize about the about the woman that liked margaritas at the beginning of the episode. She was
exactly. She a familiar restaurant that she's like, I know this place, but she couldn't figure out how she knows it. It was probably one of her favorite haunts, before she got collected, by the TVA or whatever.
Yeah, and so then Loki and Sylvie fight their way through guards and around a meteor shower while trying to board the Ark. At one point, Loki uses some powers that I'd never really seen him use before, where he levitates a building.
Mm-hmm.
Which was interesting. I didn't know he had that power, but I guess he does. Basically what ends up happening is the Ark is destroyed, by a meteor just as they reach it, leaving them stranded on this moon. And we end the episode. This was a shorter episode. It was only like 40 minutes or so. And, probably like 41 with credits and shit. But, so probably more like 30-some minutes in the episode. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was shorter than the last couple, which were almost an hour long each. So,
yeah.
Yeah, so that's what happened there, Matt. Any final thoughts or anything I missed in this episode?
I don't know. I'm not sure if you missed anything. Not that I could think of. Just just a few thoughts about like Loki. His powers seemed very inconsistent. Like he's supposed to be a god, but yet in Avengers first one he got his ass kicked by Hulk, which is weird because Hulk is just a super serum strength regular dude. He's not a god, but yet he like threw him around like a rag doll. So that's kind of interesting. And then this, the guards beat him up and throw him out the window. It's like, okay, but then he could levitate a building. It's like, what the heck, dude? Like, I mean, I guess he's the god of mischief, so I guess maybe even his powers should just be completely inconsistent and chaotic too. Appear and disappear at will. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm
not
never
sure.
Understood. I think it's kind of like what is convenient to the writing is what they do, basically. It's like
that's what I'm thinking because he just seems like a very inconsistent. Like it's like they never know. Like because I remember like when the first Avengers movie came out, like he scared me. I'm like I thought he was gonna be like the big villain, and he turns out he's just some lackey for Thanos, and all this kind of stuff. And then now we learn that Thanos is small fish in comparison to probably King the Conqueror, whoever else is, like,
yeah.
It's just interesting.
Well, you got to always keep the stakes high, is what the problem.
We have
is.
to, yeah. And because already the Infinity Stones have basically been just like null and void. Like, oh, we use them as paperweights. Like they don't serve any function anymore. That no one cares. And then you got Kane the Conqueror, which I don't know much about, but I do know a little bit about Galactus. And that guy is like as big as a planet, so it's like,
it's hard to say what the future holds for the MCU.
Yeah.
So, anyways, do you want to take a break here, Matt, and then come back and we'll talk about some trivia and like some speculation?
Some trivs? Yeah, sure.
Some trivs and some specs. We'll be right back, folks. Go eat a Pop-Tart, folks, while you're listening to these ads.
Yeah.
Need a new podcast to listen to? Well, why not check out the Super Podcast from the Super Network at supermarcy.com, where we discuss films and pop culture, and we do monthly fan-voted commentaries. We are available on all major podcasting platforms.
So there I was, Matt. I was eating a Pop-Tart, and I was thinking,
Nice.
I was thinking to myself, this is some semi-charmed kind of life I'm living. And then I overdosed on Pop-Tarts. Oh wait, no, I didn't.
I was gonna say, like, I hope there wasn't any crystal meth in those, in the filling of those Pop-Tarts.
I wouldn't trust.
Man, these Pop-Tarts make me feel good.
I wouldn't eat any of the blue ones because it might be that like crystal meth that Walter White was making on Breaking Bad. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see here. Anyways,
Yeah, the baby blue. Yeah.
Anyways,
Wow.
So here's some trivia about this episode, Matt. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay. So, two of the guards in this episode on Lamentus 1 were named Private Hudson and Corporal Hicks. They're a tribute to Michael Biehn and Bill Paxton's characters in the 1986 movie Aliens. This episode reveals that the workers of the TVA weren't created by the Timekeepers, but are all variants. This also gives a hint as to why Mobius is interested in 1990s and jet skis. It's possible he came from that time period.
Yeah.
If this show does not end with me seeing Owen Wilson on a jet ski, I'm going to be pissed.
Oh, I know. Me too. It has to. I mean, it really has to. I mean,
in the comics, the character of Sylvie is the second version of Enchantress, who was given her powers by Loki when he created her as a tool for chaos. While she was created by Loki, her powers and abilities are similar to those of the original Enchantress. This could help connect Sophia DiMartino's Sylvie in the show to Loki, as it is possible that another Loki created her, or that she is a version of Loki who is merged with the character of Enchantress. The final shot of the episode is actually one continuous shot where they're running towards the Ark. There are no cuts in that for 3 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah, it's something that, I didn't notice the first watch, but then in the second watch of the episode, I noticed it. So I actually watched this one twice, unlike the last couple that I didn't, even though I wanted to. But yeah, I had some dental surgery yesterday, and so I decided to come home, and I was kind of loopy, and I was just watching this. It was kind of interesting to watch it when you're loopy. But and this is the first episode that does not feature Owen Wilson or Tara Strong. So that's interesting. So any speculation here, Matt, or thoughts?
Yeah, I think that starting episode 4, Loki's going to have to probably try really hard to earn Mobius's trust back, because he's probably not going to believe him at first that he wasn't the one that caused all this to happen, and branching a timeline to all kinds of different branches or whatever. So I don't know. I think there's going to be probably a huge argument between Renslayer and Mobius, and those two factions about what to do with Loki if they ever find him. Because it's going to be like, oh well, we told you this would happen. You put your faith in this guy because you believe in lost causes and stuff like that. And look what happened. He betrayed you like we said he would, and so he's going to be kind of put into a weird position of trying to prove them wrong, but he's probably going to secretly agree with them, oh shit. That's the other thing too, is lost causes. So it's I wonder if he himself was a pretty bad variant, when he first, maybe he really fucked the timeline up really bad before they caught up with him, and then they made him their most ardent servant, whatever.
See, I have speculation that they don't just mind wipe him once. That he's been mind wiped several times, and that's why in the previous episode, when you see him in Renslayer's office, and there's all these rings on the table from his drink, and not using a coaster. I think there's several of him, and I do think that when she talks about other agents helping her out and giving her gifts and stuff, I think they're all him. But he just doesn't know it because his mind's been wiped after different cases.
Right, but he still also remembers certain things, so they would have to only wipe certain parts of his mind, maybe. Yeah, because
it's possible, but we don't know how.
Yeah.
Time, is different there too, so it's hard to say.
Exactly, yeah. So they could just decide, what to wipe. I do have another thought too. So, I don't know if this is true or not, but it looked like the same guy. So in the end of the second episode, when Sylvie just completely branches out all these timelines all over the place, and they're frantically trying to notify all of the Minutemen what's going on or whatever. There was that dude with the mustache. Is that the same guy from WandaVision? It looks a lot like him.
It is not.
It's not okay.
No,
all
it's a
right.
different. It's a different actor with a similar mustache.
Okay.
Yeah,
It looked a lot like him to me. So.
See, another thing too that connect WandaVision too is Sylvie talks about the fact that she had a romance with a postman. And we kept seeing that that mailman in in WandaVision. So one of the theories going around online is that he's the. Another one is that it's Stan Lee.
Yeah.
Because he's played he in different movies he's played, like FedEx guys and postmen and stuff like that. So
right, yeah.
Yeah.
That's yeah, so another theory, I guess, like speculation, my specs would be that I think Loki and Sylvie are probably not telling each other the complete truth. I mean, I think how do I explain this? Like, I think they half trust each other, but they're still secretly trying to won over each other at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, they're not complete enemies, but I don't think they completely trust each other. And I do think that, like, at some point they're gonna like convince Mobius like what's really happening, and he's gonna like probably have like a crisis of faith at some point because he like so strongly believes in like the order of the universe, goes strictly according to the Timekeeper's plans and all that kind of stuff. So I do think at some point it's going to be the three of them, like a trio type thing going on. I don't know, but
yeah.
I think so.
See, one theory I had, and I also heard too, is that there's a possibility that this whole episode didn't really happen.
Okay.
That they're not really on Lamentus. That it's all an enchantment that Loki was able to pull over Sylvie.
Okay.
To get the information out of her. Like, because we were set up with that idea at the beginning of the episode with her and Sasha Lane's character at the beginning of the episode, So it could be that that's a possibility that this whole thing is that, or it could be the other way around. Maybe she's the one. But also one of the other theories, too, that I think is I don't think the temp pad is actually broken. I think Loki was just saying it was to try to find another way off.
Yeah.
And to mess with her, because he's got magic and, he could make it look like it was broken.
Yeah, an illusion. And
yeah.
Plus, he's got that other ability where it's it's not an illusion. It's like actually, like, I don't know how to explain it, but it actually like makes like a complete molecular replica of the person's body. So it's not even.
So he might have made a complete molecular replication of the temp pad.
Right. Yeah. So that's the other interesting thing too about Infinity War. It's like, did he really die? Because if he can like do that, you know what I mean? Like,
I really hope he did, because it'd make his sacrifice less important if he didn't.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Another thing here is like, okay, she insists on not being called Loki. So if she is a Loki variant, as they've made us believe, and she wants to be called Sylvie, she decided to change her name, and she doesn't like to be called Loki. I think there might be a thing where I think she was raised by another Loki.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah,
and I think that's where Richard E. Grant comes into play, and I think it might even be the same Loki that she's traveling with right now, but an older version of him. Because Richard E. Grant looks like he could be an older version of Tom Hiddleston, possibly. So it could be that or something like that. I think she was raised by a Loki who didn't treat her well.
Yeah,
and whether it's our Loki or another Loki. And my theory is that that's why she doesn't want to be named Loki, is because she finds Loki's disgusting or something,
Yeah.
And was probably like an abusive father sort of thing. Not like maybe not physically, but emotionally abusive or something to her. Yeah. So that's my feeling on it, and I think there's a lot of layers here. And I mean, there is the whole that revelation there. I think this helped us. A lot of people are saying that this is a filler episode, but I do think there was a lot of revelations in this episode. Also, the fact that we are given this little bit of insight into Sylvie, so now we actually care about the character. Because we really didn't... I mean, we met her at the end of the last episode, but we really don't meet her until this episode. So you're 3 episodes into a 6-episode series. You need to have an episode like this so we can actually connect with the character and have some kind of emotional attachment to her, in case something bad or good happens to her in the future and we actually care about it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, for me, a filler episode is like, you have like a 15-episode show or like a 20-episode show, and then you have like an episode where like nothing of like real consequence happens. To me, that's what a filler episode is. It's not, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because I think honestly, Falcon and Winter Soldier could have used an episode like this about the Flag Smashers.
Yeah, that would have been pretty cool.
Because we didn't really have an attachment to them like we could have. I mean, we had a little bit of about their ideals and stuff, but we didn't really have an attachment. I think they could have done this where we could have cared more about the different characters that are part of the Flag Smashers, if they would have had one of these quote-unquote filler episodes. I mean, The thing is, we're preconditioned now today because of streaming and short seasons on TV series is to not have a quote-unquote filler episode. At least this wasn't like a bottle reminiscent episode or something, like where we're just flashing back to previous episodes or something,
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do think, I'm pretty sure the Clerks animated series, their second episode was a flashback to the first episode on purpose to do that, to point out that. Anyway, so... So, I think it was it was one of their, because they only had 8 episodes of that show or something. So it was like one of the first couple episodes where they just flashed back to the previous episodes, which weren't many at all. So,
wow.
Yeah. Or like in Community, where they had a bottle episode where they flashed back to events that we never actually saw.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, so
like all these weird scenarios. I'm like, what the hell did they do that year?
But it's like those episodes on sitcoms where they're stuck in an elevator or a meat cooler or something, and they're talking about all the remember on your birthday when we did this, and then we see clips of it, or remember when you pulled that scheme on Mr. Belding or whatever. No, so
one of Zach Morris's many schemes against Mr. Belding, or the entire school, rather.
So we at least it wasn't, because I considered like bottle episodes more filler episodes. Like, I mean, some bottle episodes are done brilliantly. Like I said, the Community one, which was like a play on it, or like there's a Breaking Bad, back to that, an episode of that called The Fly, which is like a brilliant episode of that all takes place in the like place where they're cooking the meth and stuff. So, some bottle episodes can be done really well, but like I don't think this was a filler episode like people think it was, though, because I think it had a lot of revelations. I think people just want like punchy, bang, bang, or something. You know what I mean? They don't want nowadays. They want like big, crazy revelations in every episode of every TV show they watch.
Yeah,
which I understand, but when we were growing up, we didn't have that.
No, we had to wait.
It wasn't like every episode of ER or something. Some kind of big revelation happened or something like that. They would have some episodes like that once in a while, but most of the episodes were just about people in a hospital doing their job. It's just
Back then too, seasons were longer. We didn't have 6 episode seasons. It was a whole year, and then we have breaks that would go on for like 3 or 6 weeks before they run another new episode. Stuff like that. So come on, guys, you know, you don't know what it was like for us, man. Like,
Yeah.
we had to have patience.
And they did on ER, too.
Yeah.
They had to have a lot of patience.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's kind of the the nature of the show. Speaking of ER, you remember that episode? I didn't watch it that much, but I saw some clips where this guy basically gets like crushed by a helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
I read somewhere that he like demanded that his character die that way because like his character always died like in weird like accidents, I guess, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like the actor, I mean, like,
Yeah.
he always wanted his character to die in like this huge explosion or something. So he basically told him, he's like, I want, because he already got his like hand cut off before by like a helicopter propeller or whatever it's called.
Chopped off his arm because he had it.
Yeah,
up
so
high.
now he's like, that's not enough. I need a helicopter to just crash into me.
Yep, that's how it goes.
Yep.
So, anything else, Matt, before we wrap things up here?
No.
Okay, so, well, I hope you guys enjoyed this, our little rambling about ER and Pop-Tarts. and Loki. And, if
you eat too many Pop-Tarts, you might go to the ER, but...
That's true. And have your stomach pumped. I almost said your pummick stumped.
Your pummick stumped. Yeah. That's a good band name.
Yeah.
Pummick
Stumped. Yep. Coming to a theater near you, Pummick Stumped. They're an emo polka band. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. Like I said, go on to Apple Podcast, give us a 5-star review if you could. I would really, really appreciate it. It helps other people find our show that, you know, might not know that we exist. Might even help the people in Battle Creek, Michigan, and Kellogg's find us.
Yeah, and give us a deal.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we're really funny, guys. I mean, we really, really are. I mean, you know, we got good banter. We, you know, we're funny. I mean, I already said we're funny, but it's true. We are pretty funny.
Have you heard that we're
funny?
funny?
I do say so myself. What's that?
Have you heard that we're funny?
Yeah. Have you heard that we're funny? Because I said it like 8 times already. But
I've heard it.
It's true. We are.
Somebody told me that.
Good.
But yeah, we got good chemistry, and
it's always been like that since like 2004 when I used to like basically almost do like comedy bits for the Baha'is without even really realizing that's what we're doing. You know.
See, we're a modern day Abbott and Costello, folks. Come on, you know.
Yes.
So give us a good review. Also, give us a bad review if you don't think we are, and I don't care, but don't give us a bad review. And you know, check out our TeePublic. You can get some T-shirts. Go to our Patreon. You can help us out that way too. You know, just send me money in a in a random envelope. You know. Message me at mike@cullenpark.com. I'll give you my address. No, I'm joking. Anyways, don't do that, folks.
No.
I don't want packages from you because I don't trust you. Anyways, so but anyways, until next time, folks, be kind, rewind. You know. Wear a mask if you have to.
Wear a mask if we have to.
Yeah, still. I mean, a lot of places don't require it anymore. Get vaxxed. And wear a condom.
Wear a condom.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening to All Too Real 2 podcast, a Cullen Park production. Produced and edited by Michael E. Cullen II. Music by Matthew Hawes. Subscribe and share the show. Visit us at cullenpark.com.